So, of course, in the struggle for balance, now I feel like it's too dark. And you'll notice from this painting demo compared to the last one, the process is a little different. The landscape, I'm not ever really changing anything dramatically or making drastic changes with the landscape. I might say, oh, that's a little wrong, or oh, but often the landscape is pretty straightforward once you make the big decisions. You make those big decisions based on what's happening. See, and I'm just clearing up some of that glare. I want it kind of going lots of different directions. It's not all one. I don't want strokes. I don't want it to look like somebody took their paintbrush and went straight across. I want it to look like air. I had a teacher in art school who used to say, "It looks licky." And I never really understood exactly what she meant until one day when there was a bit of glare and I thought, oh, strokes. Licky? Not really the way I would describe it. Just up until this point I've been using this nice workhorse hog's bristle sort of thing. I'm gonna switch to something with a sharper edge. This one, so I can clean up some of my edges. And again, not terribly worried about them. This painting is deliberately kind of loose, but you know, you just want them right. Whoops, that's not the right color. That's why we test these things. So I don't know if you saw when I test that, then I just hold it up to where I'm gonna paint before I actually put it down. Make sure that I'm doing this the right way. So I cleaned that up because there was a little place there where it looked like it was gonna start kissing. And we've talked about kissing in composition before, and it's not a good thing. Not recommended, not in the least. Okay, so straight edges. Straight, whoops, hi neighbor. Straight edges. Okay, works. Yeah. Straight. All right, what's, ooh, okay. So, hang on, I'm just concentrating really quickly there. Sometimes you need a steady hand. If you'll notice, when I need my hand steady, rather than shaking all over the place, I put my pinky down, and that helps. Also, I have this nice little board that kind of helps to, so I have something to, if I'm working on something larger, then I actually put my pinky on the canvas, and then I have to clean my pinky. But this is pretty convenient, because I don't have to do that. So, yeah. Again, another time to, just wiping my brush here, time to fix that. So, and it's time to work on that shadow a little bit anyway. Want it. So again, I want cool shadows happening here, and I want it pretty dark, but not terribly dark. I'm gonna show you a secret. And I'm just squinting, looking at my setup. Where is it gonna happen? Cleaning up some edges. Right, nice, okay. And, wow. So, shadows never ever have crisp edges. Never, ever. So you want to soften them. The problem is, I don't want to put that back in my... Make things a little darker. And again, I do it again. To a clean brush. And just smudge. 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 You want it to suddenly lay flat there. See, wow, just like that. Sometimes I even amaze myself. What can I say? Yeah. And the other thing that's important here is that shadows, as they get closer, farther away from their object, then they get lighter. And that is definitely something to consider here. Oh, so I've lightened that shadow a little bit. I don't want, and again, I kind of want it to have the same texture as what's happening out there. It's air. And I'm not terribly worried about those edges. Whee! Yeah, nice. Nice. I'm so proud of myself. Aren't you proud of me? Okay. So, a few little places here. Just gonna clean up. And again, not very worried about edges. So that is actually what I want to show you right around here. So I'm actually going to kind of soften this edge quite a bit. This is the darkest part of my apple. Here, this area. And it almost disappears into the shadow here. Just know, disappearing edge, passage. And, you know, we'll talk about it some more, I'm sure. Because it's important. It makes a big difference. It's a very small thing, makes a big difference. Just finding a little place to make your edges disappear. At the same time, I wrote pretty strong divide here. What you want to do is kind of walk your eye around your edges. See if there's a place where the edge is not quite as defined or clean. I'm kind of faltering on the best way to describe it. But you just want to walk your eye around each of these little areas. See, like here, this is actually a place where the edge can be cleaned up a little bit. And that's what I'm gonna do. So, yeah, you just want to double check, make sure that you're mixing up enough paint for those little spaces. I am going in here, this shadow just seems to be a little lighter in places, and actually pulling in some Naples yellow here. This is quite bright right at this edge. And it gets darker as it gets toward the bottom. And of course, the longer I go painting this, then the browner that apple gets. So in some senses, that is a bit of guesswork. I don't want to paint a brown apple. Who wants to buy a brown apple? Who wants to look at a brown apple? Not I. So here I am. It also looks a little wonky. So it's just about finding the right thing. Okay. So you can see I've just put a little white on there. Here. This space. So what I'm gonna do is you can see I've just kind of, this is Naples yellow, a little bit of cadmium yellow light, just defining my area where my highlight is happening. And I'm blending it in pretty good. And highlights definitely come in stages. I'm just gonna tease this out a little bit. There are lots and lots of different ways to do it. They definitely do not have, well, on apples, let's say, they do not have sharp edges. And sometimes, honestly, it doesn't matter how well you do the rest of the painting. If the highlight is off and wrong, it doesn't matter. Okay, so this is still, I still haven't moved to solid white. I'm working with a very light cream color. And cleaning my brush, always cleaning my brush, and working on the highlight. I do have a little gap here, hang on. Let's fix this gap. Before we put in the stem, there's a slight adjustment here. Nice, much better, yeah. The apple looks a little less wobbly that way. There's definitely a shadow there, and so that's confusing me a little. All right, so burnt umber and too much mineral spirit. One more burnt umber and go. So sometimes it's better just to pull it in immediately. Curve. And now. Okay. It's a good beginning. So, it could be a little darker some places. Let's clean that up just a smidge. Burnt umber. So, you know, at this point it's all just like little tweaks. And I'm close to happy, but I'm not happy yet. Sometimes it might be the brush strokes, sometimes it might be this edge is bothering me a little bit, you know, whatever. So I'm gonna just play with it a little more, and you can look at the final result down there below. It will be available, and you can see the final result. And as always, thanks so much for getting all the way to the end with this painting with me, listening to my ramblings as I attempt to paint and talk at the same time. And thanks for being here. You guys really matter. I'm really grateful for you.